One second, one second. Alright, let's make sure we're live on the YouTube. Are we? Beautiful. Audio works. Yep. Yep. Alright. Let's see if we're live on the X. Are we live on the X? Yes, we are. Audio works beautifully. Yes. Let's make sure we're live on the Twitch. We live on the Twitch. Let's make sure. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Yes, we are live on the Twitch. Facebook, we live there. Let's make sure. All right. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Now let's check and make sure we are live on the TikTok, tiki-taki, aka the Tac Tac. Let's see. All right, yes we are. Good, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything is all good and hope aesthetic. Hope you guys are living your best lives, of course. Legal says, good morning, doubles. Good morning, Legal. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Right now, I'm just chilling right now. Chilling like a villain. Getting everything all set up, getting the announcements all out and ready to go. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. All right. All right. All right. Let's see here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got going on. All right, let's get the announcements out. Let me get all the announcements out ready to go. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got quite a few stuff to talk about. For starters, we got MB, Mike Bravo. This stock has run up a high of 369%. 369%. And the last bit of news that it had was on the 16th of July, so there wasn't really much going on in terms of news. So, we'll see what goes on here. We shall see what goes on here. We shall see. Hold on. Mix it. Marty says, good morning, Doubles and Banger Nation. Good morning, Marty. Good morning. Nick on Facebook says, good morning, Double Nicks. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. All right. We should be good. All right. All right. So we got our stuff going on over here. Getting all the announcements out. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, so MB, Master Beef Group, actually had a nice run earlier today. Up 369%. Now, this is a Hong Kong stock, so it's one of those stocks that I don't necessarily fully trust because Hong Kong stocks and China stocks tend to really be, how do I say it? They tend to be very, very sporadic with the price action, so I tend to be a little bit more weary around them. That's just me personally. That's just my thing. So I keep an eye on them, but gotta be real careful in my opinion. Banger Nation on TikTok gave me hearts. Thank you guys for all the likes. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you for the good morning wishes. Much love to you guys. Thank you on TikTok. Much love to the TikTok community right there. Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir. All right. So, as of now, MB itself has a bit of some consolidation just above the VWAP, and it looks like it's pulling below the VWAP a little bit now, but it did have a nice run earlier in the day. Right now, though, it has to break above that $13.18 mark, which is where the VWAP is, because it has formed a bit of a pennant. Has formed a little bit of a pennant going on right there, so we'll see what happens. Okay. All right. Let me just share it up on the YouTubes. All right. All right, there's that. And there's this. All right. Make sure that. Oh, let me make sure the glitch is not happening. Yes, yes, it is. It is. Let me fix that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me fix that real quick. All right. There we go. That's been fixed up. Beautiful. All right. Let me just put this over here and then we get started. All right. Here we are. Good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get started over here. Let me get the graffiti pencil activated. All right. Let's take a look over here. Bobo Beef says, howdy. Howdy, Bobo. Here in the Lima Charlie. Copy that, Bobo. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, Bobo. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Bobo said, what's up to Marty? Yes, he did. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a little bit of a pennant going on over here. Curl this way on up. And formed another pennant all the way over here with MB. Now, MB also has a support and resistance line that it has to be upholding. Right now, the real line that has to be breaking through right now is the VWAP. So MB, as of now, needs to break above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. MB, all right, is a 5 million float, 14 million volume. Needs, all right, needs volume to break the VWAP at $13.18, as well as the pennant. That's what it has to do right there. That's what it has to do right there. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Hello? Up. Is it? Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. There we are. Does it work now? Am I Lima Charlie? Am I Lima Charlie? Because I thought I was Lima Charlie. Am I? Okay, good, good, good. I think the microphone the microphone glitched. The microphone. Yeah. Are you? Okay. Good, good, good. Good, 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 good. Yes. Bobo Beef says made some of that MV, DSY, and YYAI money. Snipe, snipe, baby. There we go. That's what I like to hear, Bobo. That's what I like to hear. Bobo Beef says still Lima Charlie. All right. All right, all right, all right. Beautiful. He sniped. He sniped. The Bobo Beeps is sniped. Yes. He's got his ghillie suit. You know, he's in the tall weeds. Yes, yes, he's pulling the DBL moms. He's in the tall weeds and the high trees and the low seas hitting them high knees. Looking at some of them stonks and sniping. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's what he's got going on. That is what he's got going on. 1 second. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Danke Shane. All right. Ooh. Cranberry juice. That's that good stuff. Ooh-wee. Mmm. I thought I was getting orange juice, but you know what? This is welcome. This is welcome. This is a welcome one. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's that stuff right there. That's good. That's good right there. That's the good good. All right. So, DSY is now curled up off the descending wedge, but really needs to hold above that descending wedge and be friends with the trend, and also needs to break this VWAP right over here. It also has a little, yep. It's basically got to break above this $6.40 mark for it to be somewhat maxi to me. It needs to remain friends with the trend right there. DSY needs to remain friends with the trend, moving towards the VWAPA. Oh my, it looks like it broke above it, up 96%. Up 96%. 101% now. Oh my, DSY, new bagger. New bagger, oh my, now up 111%, 111%. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. 111% hit that. Well, actually, it hit 124 earlier, but I mean, it shot up like a rocket just now. Oh my, 119%. 119%. Oh my. DSY shot up 119%. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh my. Whew. That's that good stuff right there. Oh my. There we are. There we are. Beautiful. Okay. So, now DSY actually, before we continue, MB, our scanners, our private pre-market Discord scanners caught prior to For MB, our private scanners caught it prior to its run up 369%. That was MB, 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 MB. All right. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. All right. All right. But now DSY looks like it has pulled itself back. Pulled itself back. We're going to take a look over here. HCWC, HCWC. All right, give me 1 second. Let me just write over here the DSY, DSY. All right. All right. There we are. There we are. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Yeesh. So let's take a look over here. Let's take a look at the stock market over here. Let's take a look at HCWC. HCWC over here ran up, had a shot upwards all the way up here. Boom. And formed a bit of a pennant right over here. Now, HCWC, if I remember correctly, HCWC did have a 96% run earlier today, but then pulled back a little bit. All right. Now it's currently below the VWAP right now. Currently below the VWAP. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. So as of now, HCWC needs to break the VWAP at 33 cents, as well as the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. That's HCWC. HCWC. All right, let's take a look at NAMI, 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 NAMI. All right, now NAMI actually had a run earlier today at 8:26 a.m. Ran up a nice 224%. So we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens there. All right, but NAMI as of now. All right, so our private Discord scanners caught NAMI, ticker symbol NAMI, yesterday and this morning prior to its run up 226% right there. All right, so you got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right, there we go. There we go. Let me take a look over here. NAMI needs to break this pennant, and it also needs to break the resistance line right over here. Give me 1 second, 1 second. Has to break the support line. Actually, excuse me. Has to hold above the support line at $8.42. Needs to break the resistance at $9.02, and then the high a day at $9.99 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. NAMI needs to break the resistance line at $9.02 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. That's what we got going on right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. The link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot's the cash, oh, the big bucks, I tell you. All right, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check that out. Be sure to check it out. Link to join is in that pinned comment section right there, as well as the, actually, it's in the pinned comment section as well as the description. So be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check it out. Show it some love. Show it some love, ladies and gents. All right. NAMI, by the way, is now 221% and climbing. Hit 224 for a second there. All right, needs to break above the $9.99 mark right there. That's NAMI, NAMI. So we got that going on right there. Also, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our merch. Be sure to check out our merch. We got all sorts of cool stuff there, ladies and gentlemen, as well. We got all sorts of beautiful things, like, for example, we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got lids, we have hats, we have all sorts of cool stuff like that. And we also have mouse pads, we have cup and handles, aka mugs, we have other cool stuff, like, for example, stickers, again, the mouse pads, all that cool stuff. So we got that right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our new 3-month quarterly package. All right. That comes at a nice little discount. So be sure to check that out as well. Be sure to check that out, because that is going to be around for a limited time only. Be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen, while supplies last. Link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. Because, again, we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cash, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Hold on 1 second. Alright, so NAMI just hit a new high a day, broke above $9.99. Pretty sure it hit... Hold on. Yeah, it hit a new high a day. So it actually hit 238% right there. So NAMI, NAMI just broke the high of day and hit 240% right there, 240%. All right, there we go. Our scanners caught this one early in the morning prior to that run. All right, all right, all right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, alright, alright. There we are. Alright. Alright. So, that's what we got going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at some other stocks here. HCWC. HCWC looks like it's curling off the pennant right now. Looks like it's curling off the pennant. We're going to need some support and resistance lines over here. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here. Boom. Alright. Needs to break above that 41-cent line for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Right there. There we go. There we go. Alright. HCWC curling off the pennant and moving towards the next resistance line at 36 cents. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on for HCWC. HCWC, let's take a look. Alright. Alright. DSY. Pulled back. Popped up, dropped back down. Not schmexy anymore. Let's see what else we got going on. Ladies and gentlemen. Alright. Let's see. Oh, actually, we do have some requests. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going as well. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 400. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Alright. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Alright. Just gotta make sure everything's all copacetic on X. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. But yes. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 400. 400. Let's get that going on right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alright. 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 There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me just fix this over here. Ah, there we go. So yes. As of now, NAMI and NAMI needs to break above $9.21. It did break above the original high of day and hit a new high of day at $10.24. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. So we shall see what happens there. In the meantime, give me 1 sec. Let me just take a look over here. Let's take a look at the requests. Okay. Someone requested HTZ. Alright. HTZ right there. Hertz Global Holdings Inc. That's what we got going on right there. on the uptrend currently as of now. Broke above the VWAP at $2.52. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here. All right. HTZ as of now needs to break $2.70. HTZ needs volume to break the high of day at $2.70 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Up 33% as of now. Very choppy uptrend there. I don't entirely trust this stock, not going to lie to you. Let me take a look over here at the float. Float is extremely heavy. Volume is extremely light. Not looking schmexy to me. As of now, it really needs to break above that high a day at $2.70. Otherwise, it's just meh. Alright, so it's moving up on very low volume. HTZ moving up on low volume and needs to break the high of day at $2.70. So that's what it's got going on right there. I don't entirely trust the stock. Heavy float, low volume. Not schmexy to mya. Let's take a look at NAMI. Let's see how it's doing. NAMI needs to break above the resistance at $9.21. NAMI needs volume to break the resistance at $9.21 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at another stock here. Someone requested CELZ. CELZ. All right. Let's take a look at CELZ. All right. Now CELZ. All right. Let's get some support and resistance lines for it. It did have some indecisive wicks there, so we'll see what happens. All right. Let's take a look at the float. Float is 6.4 million. That's reasonable. Volume is 5.9, so it is low on the volume matter of things. And the volume side of things, it is pretty low. All right. All right. So, as of now, CELZ is a little bit consolidated along the $1.40 resistance line. So we'll see what happens there. CELZ, low volume, consolidated along the resistance line at $1.40. Needs volume to break above the resistance and break the high of day at $1.45 for it to be so much schmexy to me. This stock is up 21% with unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 11 days from now on August 18th after the market closed. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. All right. So let's see what we got going on. All right, all right, all right. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Someone requested HTZ again, so I'll do HTZ once again. Here we go. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have any stocks you want us to take a look at, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Put it in the chat right there. All right. So HTZ did test the high of day a little bit at 270, but looks to be pulling back again. This stock is an extremely heavy float with very low volume stock. Now it's currently on a slight uptrend, but the thing with it is it's number one, it's only up 32%. Number two, it's not exactly, how do I put it, reliable in terms of that price action, but also the fact that the float is just extremely heavy and the volume is extremely light. It just it don't seem good. All right, so let's see. HTZ. Still on the slight uptrend. Very heavy float and light volume. Needs to break the high day at $2.70 to remain friends with the trend. There we go. Bold Beefs has sniped HCW and is moving. Let's take a look at HCW. I think he means HCWC. So I'm going to take HCWC. I think that's what you mean. HCWC, as of now, is curling its way on up right now. Up 90%. Actually, excuse me. Yep, up 85% right now. 85%. Has news that Healthy Choices Wellness shares are trading higher after the company announced that it had filed the definitive proxy statement and a special meeting of stockholders in connection with the merger with Host Digital Infrastructure. So they got that going on right there. That is what they got going on with HCWC. HCWC right there. So as of now, HCWC is on the uptrend. As of now, needs volume to remain friends with the trend and needs to break the high day at 41 cents. 41 cents. That's what it needs to break above for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. There we go. It did have a moment where it was a bit overbought in the RSI over here, if you take a look. Right over here. But that has since passed, and looks like it is currently curling its way on up. Can it break above 41 cents? We'll have to see. We shall see. We shall see. Also, let's take a look at MB. Once again, MB, Mike Bravo. All right, Mike Bravo currently is consolidated. Currently consolidated along the VWAP right now, just below the first resistance at $13.89. So as of now, MB. Bobo Beef says, done for the day. Thank you, Coach Doubles and Moms. Of course, Bobo. Much love, brother.
Weekend time.
It's weekend time for you. Weekend time. What do you guys got planned for the weekend, by the way? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys got planned for this weekend. What you guys got planned. All right, so let me put this here. MB needs to break the consolidation. And the pennant needs to break the resistance line at $13.89 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. There we go. There we go. Let's take a look at NAMI again. NAMI. NAMI. Alright, so NAMI is currently up 204% as of now. Needs volume to break the pennant and break above that $9.21 resistance line for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. So NAMI needs volume to break the pennant and the resistance line at $9.21 for it to be so much Mexi to Mia. There we go, there we go. Let's see how HCWC is doing. HCWC hit 97% before pulling its way back down. We'll see what happens there. As of now, it needs to remain friends with the trend. Alright, so we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. Let's take a look at CPOP. CPOP. Not looking too schmexy as of now. CPOP has a 10 million float, 69 million volume, but it is on a downtrend right now. So CPOP, this is a China stock, up 34%. CPOP needs volume to break the downtrend and the VWAPA at 54 cents for it to be so much Mexi to Mia. Alright. Let's see. What other stunks do we have today? Alright, somebody requested HTZ again. Alright, we'll take a look at it. HTZ. HTZ seems to be pulling its way back. Pulling its way back down. We'll see what happens. Alright, so HTZ as of now needs to break that little descending wedge and needs to break above the high day at $2.70 for HTZ. HTZ needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAPA, excuse me, the high a day, high of day at $2.70 for it to be so much Mexi to Mia. There we go. There we go. VATE, Victor Alpha Tango Echo. Let's see how that's doing. VATE, as of now, formed a bit of a pennant. Has news that Innovate shares are trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in its Q2 financial results. The stock is currently up 48%. This is an American stock right here. We'll see what goes on. We shall see what goes on. All right. So let's take a look over here. Let's see. Can it break above that 1241 resistance right there? There's a VWAP right there. So VATE needs volume to break the pennant and the VWAPA at $12.41 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mia. There we go. There we go. All right. Someone requested CELZ. CELZ, how's it going with that stock? Let's take a look at the float. Float is 6.4 million. Volume is 6.08 million, so call it 6.1 million. Still pretty low float in my opinion. Not too schmexy as of now. Alright, so CELZ. As of now, needs to break the high of day at $1.45 for it to be so much schmexy to me. Boa says MB is trying again. Let's take a look. Let's see what MB is doing. MB looks like it's trying to curl its way on up a little bit. All right. MB as of now is currently curling above the resistance line at $13.89. It broke through it. Needs to now break the next resistance at 16.27 for it to be schmexy to me. As of now, it is climbing though. MB climbing up off the pennant. Broke the resistance line. Needs to break the next resistance at $16.27 for it to be so much schmexy to me. Alright, so as of now, we're just watching MB curl its way on up slowly but surely. So, as of now, that's what we got going on. Gonna keep an eye on MB. Gonna keep an eye on it. But let's take a look at some other stocks here in the meantime while MB is climbing its way on up. Let's take a look here. Someone requested ZENA. 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 Alright, so ZENA as of now, not looking particularly schmexy. Not looking particularly schmexy. Alright, had a bit of a downtrend over here. A little bit of a pennant actually, and curled its way on up slightly. Alright, but then it pulled back down once again and formed a slight descending wedge. So as of now, ZENA has unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 11 days on August 18th before the market opens. So they got that going on. This is a Canadian stock right here. Needs volume to break above the VWAP. So as of now, ZENA needs volume to break the descending wedge and the VWAPA at $1.67 for it to be so much maxi to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Boba Beef says, I first saw MB on the Market Mover scanner at 0500. If you haven't joined the Banger Nation Discord, I highly recommend it. Thank you, Bobo. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to check out the 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Alright, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our wonderful 3-month deal that we have going on. It's a quarterly package that we have going on, alright, at a discounted rate, so be sure to check that out while supplies last, because it's a limited time offer. Be sure to check it out. Alright, so yeah, there we go. There we go, there we go. Alright. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? What else we got? Someone requested. Actually, you know what? Let's check back in on MB, Mike Bravo. Let's see how it's doing. Let's check back in on MB. MB as of now still curling up a little bit. All right, still curling up a little bit right there. All right. MB still curling up. Needs to break the resistance line at $16.43 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. There we go.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, just gotta check something real quick. Make sure we're still copacetic on everything real quick. Yeah, just give me 1 second. Yeah, give me a second. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, we should be good there. Okay. Alright. Let's make sure we're all good on X here. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going, by the way. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1100. 1100, 1100, 1100. Alright. There we go. There we go. Hold on. Alright. Alright. Consistency. Hey, welcome, welcome. Consistency asks for TTD and SNDL. All right, let's take a look at TTD and SNDL. So TTD, as of now, TTD is currently, this is the Trade Desk Inc. This stock is down 29%. 29%. All right. Has news that the Trade Desk shares are trading lower after the company reported a worse than expected Q2 financial result and issued some soft Q3 revenue guidance. So that's currently what they got going on right now. As of now, it has currently pulled its way on back down over here. It's on a bit of a downtrend below the VWAP right here. Let's take a look and see what float and volume we got. Float is extremely heavy, so let's take a look over here. TTD, TTD, TTD. All right. TTD needs, all right, heavy. It's a heavy float because it has a heavy float, 363 million and change. Heavy float and low volume stock. All right, and needs to break the downtrend over here. All right, let me just zoom this in. All right, needs to break the downtrend. Needs to break the downtrend at $12.73. All right, needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at $12.73 right there. So this is pretty much it. The trade desk currently down 29%. Has news that they are trading lower after the company. Yeah, well, yes, it is large cap, heavy float, low volume right there, and it's trading lower after the company reported worse than expected Q2 financial results and issued soft Q3 revenue guidance. And yeah, that's pretty much what it's got going on right there. So it really needs to break that downtrend and needs to break that VWAP at $12.73 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Give me 1 second, 1 second. All right. All right. let's take a look at the next one, SNDL. SNDL over here. SNDL as of now, very barcoded, very barcoded. I could take a look over here. The float is 260 million, volume is 7,000, so extremely heavy float, very low volume right there, and this stock has been barcoding for a while now. Lots of barcoding, lots of indecisive wicks, not looking too schmexy, so it's a very heavy float, low volume, currently up 0.83%. There's a Canadian stock, so SNDL, heavy float and low volume right there. Barcoded as of now. And very choppy with the price action. Alright. Has a lot of indecisive wicks. Lots of indecisive wicks right here. Will need a lot of volume for it to be so much maxi to meow. Otherwise, it's just meh. Very choppy as of now. Very choppy. All right, let's take a look at HNRG. Now, HNRG is currently up 0.34%. Has a conference call scheduled in 3 days at 5 p.m. All right, and has some Q2 earnings confirmed for in 3 days from now on Monday, August 10th after market close. So you got that going on right there. That is what you got going on right there. All right. Lots of indecisive wicks as well over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the float and volume. I'm pretty sure it's a low volume stock, but let's take a look. Float is 38 million, volume is 33, just like literally 33. So this is an extremely heavy float, very low volume once again. All right, so that's HNRG. HNRG extremely low float and heavy volume right there. Needs to break the choppy downtrend and indecisive wicks, as well as the VWAP at $14.93, but it really needs a lot of volume for it to even get to that point. So we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens there. Consistency asks for CPRT, so we're going to take a look at CPRT. This one is down 7%, down 0.07%. All right, and also is very choppy. You got a lot of chop right over here. A lot of chop going on right over here. So this is a very choppy stock as well. Very choppy stock as well. CPRT. All right. Has a 743 million float. Volume is 4,000. So not very schmexy in terms of that right there. Again, this one is another stock with a very heavy float and a very light volume. So CPRT, as of now, very heavy float with a very low volume, choppy price action with indecisive wicks right there. Needs a lot of volume for it to be so much mexy to me. That's CPRT. All right, so that's what we got going on right there. Let's take a look at NAMI. Let's see how NAMI is doing. NAMI still needs to break that pennant, still needs to break that resistance at 921. So NAMI still needs to break the pennant and the resistance line at $9.21 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. There we go. HCWC, let's take a look at that one. Moving right there a little bit, moving its way on up Slowly but surely, but it is moving its way on up. Yes, good. Consistency says, thank you, Nick. My pleasure, Consistency. My pleasure, brother man. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope you're making a lot of consistency money. Consistency money. Consistency money. All right. So, HCWC just broke the 36-cent resistance line and is moving towards the high of day at 41 cents. Right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Again, Healthy Choice Wellness shares are trading higher after the company announced it filed a definitive proxy statement in the special meeting of stockholders in connection with the merger with Host Digital Infrastructures right there. Has some unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 14 days from now on August 21st after market close. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on right there. HCWC on the uptrend and broke the resistance line. Moving up towards the high of day at 41 cents right there for it to be so much mexy to nya. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. There we are. There we are. All right. In the meantime, let's take a look at DSY. DSY shot up like a rocket earlier in the day and then proceeded to pull back down. All right. Popped up, dropped down. Not schmexy to me. Not schmexy to me at all. So we shall see what goes on here. But right now needs to break this pennant. Needs to break this pennant and needs to break the VWAP at $6.28 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. DSY needs to break the pennant and the VWAP at $6.28 for it to be so much schmexy to me. Otherwise, meh. Again, this is a China stock, so I don't entirely trust it. Up 68%, but we'll see what happens there, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. VATE, let's see how that's doing. VATE has a 6 million float, 6 million volume right there. It is also still in the pennant, but needs to break above the $12.38 resistance line, which is at the VWAP right there, for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Has news that Innovate shares are trading higher than the after the company reported a year-over-year increase in its Q2 financial results, up 53% as of now. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look over here. Let's put this up here. VATE. All right. Needs volume to break the VWAP at $12.38 and the pennant at just the pennant really. It just needs to break the pennant and the VWAP at $12.38 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right. All right. All right. All right. MB. Let's take a look over here. MB. Let's take a look right here. MB currently forming another pennant right over here. Another pennant right over here, just above the support line of $14.08. All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. Let's see here. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, by the way, let's get the share party going on. Let's get to 1600, 1600, 1600, 1600. MB as of now needs to break above the pennant. Needs to break above this pennant for it to be somewhat sexy to me. Needs to break that pennant right there to be somewhat schmexy to me. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Let me get this over here. Alright. 1 sec. Give me 1 second. Alright. Give me a sec here. Alright, so as of now, MB, this is a Hong Kong stock. These Hong Kong stocks tend to really be hit or miss normally. So has to break above this pennant, really has to break above the pennant, and has to break above this resistance line all the way over here at $16.51. But as of now, it's kind of consolidated just above the support line at $14.08. So it has to break above this pennant, has to break above the resistance line at $16.51, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. MB needs to break the resistance at $16.51 and needs to break the pennant right there as well. Needs to break that $16.51 line, which is all the way up here, and needs to break that pennant. Needs to break that pennant, ladies and gentlemen. All right, in the meantime, let's take a look at DSY. DSY, all right, has to break above the VWAP over here, which is currently at $6.28. All right, it looks like it's trying to curl towards it, but it's a little consolidated just below that area, so it has to break above that consolidation, has to break above this pennant, and has to break above this VWAP. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on right there. We are 1 minute away from the bell.
The bell.
The bell. We are 1 minute away from the bell right there. 1 minute away from the bell. Hold on 1 second. Let me just put this all the way over here. Get the news feed. Yes. Ooh, the bell.
We got the bell.
We got the bell. Yes, sir. All right, we got the bell. Okay. 9:30 bell, ladies and gentlemen. 9:30 bell. All right, so DSY as of now. DSY still consolidated below the VWAP. Needs to break the resistance at $6.28. $6.28. That's where the VWAP is right there. So it needs to break the VWAP, which is another resistance line as well, at $6.28, as well as that pennant right there. It has to break that pennant too. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see what else we got here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what else we got. All right, all right, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to a nice... let's get to 1,700. Let's get to 1,700, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1,700 right there. Yes, sir. All right, so far, got MB, Mike Bravo, which ran up a nice 369%. NAMI, which ran up a nice 224%. HCWC, which ran up, I believe, 96%. Might have run higher, actually. Let me take a look. HCWC. Which ran up, yeah, 97%. There we go. I said 96. But yeah, no, it ran up 97%. So, we got that going on right there. All right. Hold on. Let me check the request over here. Oh, all right. Let's see here. Somebody requested CLRO. All right. Let's take a look at CLRO. CLRO. Let's see here. Not good. Not good. This stock kind of trash, not going to lie. Okay, so.
CLR had its day in the sun yesterday.
Yeah, it had its day in the sun yesterday, but that was yesterday. What have you done for me lately? This stock currently is on the downtrend, currently consolidated below the VWAP. Had its time in the sun yesterday, but now has since become booty grease. So, needs to break the downtrend, needs to break above this VWAP right over here, $12.58 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Otherwise, not interesting. Not interesting. CLRO needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at $12.58. $12.58. Currently consolidated. Below the VWAP. So that's what it's currently doing right now. It's currently consolidated. It's currently just doing this, making a nice little straight line, which don't need that. I need to break above this downtrend, and I need to break above this VWAP right here for it to be somewhat interesting to me. Let's take a look at CELZ. CELZ, what's going on with CELZ at the moment? Continuation from yesterday. Yes, sir. All right. Looks like it curled its way on up. CELZ, 58% up right there. CELZ, nice price spike. Our scanners caught it both yesterday and this morning. All right, early in the morning. All right. So CELZ had a nice price spike. Looks like it's pulling its way back down though, but it had a nice major price spike all the way up over here. Tested the high a day at $1.89. Actually made a new high a day, at $1.89, and looks like it's pulling its way back because it is a bit overexposed and a little bit overextended on the RSI. So we got that going on right here. It's a bit overbought, ladies and gents. It's a bit overbought. Has some unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 11 days on August 18th after the market close. So we got that going on right there. Has to hold above $1.73. That is the current resistance line that it's got going on, but it has a higher day as well at $1.89. Lucky, good morning. Say, Kang, good morning, brother. Good morning.
Where's Tang on which platform?
He's on YouTube.
I don't see him on there.
Yeah, no, it's Lucky Curse. God bless him.
What's his name?
Luquie Curse.
YouTube?
Yeah, he's on YouTube.
I don't see the message.
He's on YouTube.
How come I don't see the message?
Well, you should. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, hey, Kang. Coach says what's up. Coach says what's up. Hopes you've been blessed. I don't know if. Oh, good Lord. I'm over here fighting. Look, there he is. He says, "Morning, all. Happy investing." Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Oh, I see. Let's go.
I saw that. All right, CELZ. Hitting the high of day at $1.89. It is currently curling its way on up right now and testing the high of day. Marty says, good morning, Lucky. There we go. All right. Currently, this stock is moving its way on up. It's now up 63% right now, 63%. Shot up to $1.94. You know what? Lucky gave it the lucky touch right there. You know what I mean? He gave it that magic touch. Now all of a sudden it's hitting 194. All right. Lucky says, tell Coach I said, blessed be the ground he walks on. His and remain healthy.
Much love.
Coach says much love, brother. Much love. You know what it is? I think I don't know if I mentioned to him the whole love bubble thing.
Oh my.
I think that's why he said it. I might have mentioned that. I don't know who I mentioned that to, but it was hilarious. It might have been Kang or it might have been somebody else. I don't remember. But Lord have mercy, it was funny. CELZ, as of now, needs to break $1.94. That is the high a day right now. That is the high a day. CELZ hit a new high a day. A new high a day. And ran up a nice, hold on, 64% here. Lucky says, not me, no love bubble here. No, no. No, Fortnite got love bubbles now, brother. It's got Bobo Beef says love bubble love. I mean, that is going to be a running gag for like the rest of the channel. You know that, right? The love bubble thing. Oh yeah, that's going to be a running gag, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be a running gag. Hit a new high a day at $1.94. That's CELZ, and ran up 64% as of now. So it's looking pretty good right now. Looking pretty good. That's what we got going on. All right, Lucky says, y'all be good. I got to get back to work. Bo Beebs did say, what's up, Lucky? But yeah, there we go. That is my boy right there. That's my buddy. That's my buddy Lucky Curse. God bless him. That is my buddy. Shout out to him. God bless him. That's my buddy right there. That's my brother right there. Oh yeah. Let me just put this over here. All right.
So CELZ is up 63%, but we alerted we
Yesterday.
about it on the 5th, and it's been earning for the past 3 days.
Oh yeah.
5th, 6th, and 7th, baby.
Yep, we posted.
Rain, baby.
Yep, we posted. The first post was actually on the 5th at 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we posted it again yesterday on the private Discord at 4:02 a.m. And it ran up all the way yesterday to, hold on, let me see if I got this right. Yep, it ran up 139% yesterday, and then once again we posted it this morning, and it ran up once again up 64%. So this stock has been called multiple times on the private Discord. It has been called multiple times on the private Discord right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Hold on one second. There we are. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. HCWC ran up 111%. Hold on one second. HCWC new high a day just hit. Just hit a new high a day at 45 cents. 45 cents. Healthy Choices Wellness shares are trading higher after the company announced that it filed a definitive proxy statement and a special meeting of stockholders in connection with the merger with Host Digital Infrastructures right there. And there were some Q2 earnings unconfirmed for in 14 days from now on August 21st after market close. So it's got that going on right there. Needs to break the 45-cent resistance line right over there for it to be somewhat schmaxy to mya. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So has to break above 45 cents. That is the new high a day. HCWC ran up now 111% right there. All right. That's the last one we're going to be doing, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be actually doing the outro right now. So give me just a second. HCWC now up 111%. All right. Hit a new high a day at 45 cents. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. All right. And there we are, and that's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got going on. All right. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. So, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot's the cash shoulder, the big bucks, I tell ya. All right, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel at CoachNickMoney. At CoachNickMoney, where we do all sorts of live streaming, stock reviews, stock analysis, long-form videos, short-form videos. We even got videos that are, humorous in nature, other ones that are informative in nature, other ones that are even motivational in nature. So we got all that going on right there. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to check us out on our X.com, a.k.a. Twitter, at CoachNickMoney. At CoachNickMoney, where we got all sorts of live streaming stock reviews and stock analysis there as well. Be sure to check us out on our Twitch at CoachNickMoney. At CoachNickMoney, where we do all sorts of live streaming as well. Be sure to check us out on our Facebook at CoachNickMoney. At CoachNickMoney, where we do live streaming stock reviews and stock analysis. Be sure to check us out on our TikTok, Tiki-Taki, a.k.a. the Tac Tac. The Tac Tac. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBLNICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. Money. Ooh. Wait a minute. Hold on. MB just shot up like a rocket. Hold on. Oh, it's 325%. Oh, okay. Never. All right. It's still moving. All right. There we go. That's good. Anyways, as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check us out there. And yeah, be sure to also stay tuned for our upcoming show today at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Power Play. Hosted by the legend himself, Coach Nick Money, as he traverses the stock market prior to the Power Hour. And what he likes to do is he likes to basically keep an eye on stocks, take a nice look at them, give them a little look over, study them, and then after that proceeds to give his honest review and analysis on each and every one of these stocks prior to the Power Hour. And then what he likes to do is he likes to let the stock simmer a little bit with a little bit of paprika, a little bit of sazon, a little bit of cumin, a little turmeric right there as well. He likes to basically let the stock simmer a little bit while he gets some dubs for the community of Fortnite. That's what he likes to do right there. And yeah, he has a good time doing it. Just saying. All right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, that's what he's going to be doing right there. He's going to be on YouTube. He's going to be on X, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok. He's going to be on all those platforms right there. So be sure to check it out at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Power Play, ladies and gentlemen. Power Play. All right. So, yeah, that's what he's going to be doing right there. He's going to be doing that stock review and stock analysis. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, one more thing. Quick thing before we wrap up. If you guys have been watching and you're serious about trading small caps, don't just sit on the outside trying to piece it together. We've got a 4-day full access pass for $9.99, and it's full access. So you come inside, you get to see how we operate live, how we structure trade ideas, how we map levels, how we think about risk, how we handle momentum. You also get access to the next day early watch list, as well as the 24/7 market news flow, which is actually being shown on the right-hand side of the screen. Basically, it has a hyperlink to the articles, as well as a synopsis of what goes on within said articles. And then to top it off, you also get a hyperlink to the ticker that is affiliated with the news within said article. So you got that going on right there. So all you have to do is at the touch of a button, utilize it for a perfect research tool. So you can basically look into the news on the stock. You could look into the actual chart of a stock. You could learn every single little thing there is to know about these stocks before you look into them and before you even touch them. It's a wonderful research tool, so be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen. You also get access to the pre-market, regular hours, and after-hours scanners built with ticker, price, volume, float, change in percentage, whether the stock is moving up or down, as well as the time in which the stock was scanned, and hyperlinks to basically learn more about each and every single one of the stocks that are currently on the scanner that we are looking at right there. So you basically have all that at the touch of a button as well. And ladies and gentlemen, you also get access to our ticker tape built to catch stocks just before they're starting to heat up, but before they go parabolic, ladies and gentlemen. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this ain't noise, this is structure. And if that's how you want to approach this market, grab the 4-day pass or the 3-month pass, which is only around for a limited time offer, and come see it live. Link to join us in the description down below, so be sure to check that out. When you come in, let us know you saw us on the stream. We'd love to hear from you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful